Hello Whiskers and welcome to another ball of yarn. Today we're gonna take a look at the beginner's guide. It's a really beautiful game and really touching, so I do believe that if you want to play this for yourself, click away from this video now and go play it. I'll leave a link for the game in the description. So for those of you still here, let's play the game. Yes, it is. Thank you. Alright then.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
So we're off to quite a good start. Some nonsensical stuff. And here we are in a white room. Let's see what happens if we go here. A gun!
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Yeah. That's...
You can click to fire the gun.
Oh, that's right. That's interesting. Some doors you can't open, some floating stones in that room, and then just some hallways. You can just shoot like that. And I'm out of ammo. You can't even reload, so no need trying that.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Yeah, that door, when that opens, you can't go in there anyway, so whatever.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
That's interesting. Just, that's where the skybox ends. Okay. Nothing down here, some weird holes on the wall. Aha. And we go this way, and what do you know? It's a maze.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Well, back there's the maze. We could go through it again, but yeah, no need to. We'll see it again very shortly.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
That is an interesting dilemma. But for the heck of it, let's just do it. And whoop!
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
And this is kind of funny. I love this. Whoop! Wah! And there's a maze. Amazing maze.
The beam
And the rest of the
causes you to
station.
start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
While that loads, let me know if you solved the maze. Yep, can't go forward. I can only go backwards.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards. So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Let's see. Aha! And then we're here. That is
Short
interesting.
little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
I think that's a beautiful little one. This one's kind of odd though, and I don't quite understand it, but well, I'll show you. You are now entering what?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
To be honest, I don't. I never understood that one.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I can also say I have checked around these blocks. There's nothing there. He'll also, other than he'll tell you that there's nothing there. So, up the stairs we go. And we're slowing down now. Yeah.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Yeah, I have also tried just crawling like this and it takes forever, so let's press enter. Up we go! And it's a room. It's a room of thoughts. A lot of thoughts. Let's walk around a bit. Let's see. This door does nothing.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games. Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
There's a lot of interesting stuff here. Well, hope you got a good read of some of that. Ready, set, fish. You'd think you'd have to fish in this game, right? But nope. Interesting hallway. Stairs. And then a step down. Boop.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Click there to open the gate. And in here, there's nothing. So what do? You do like this. And then close the gate again. And there we have it. This lever opens this door.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Also, these three blobs appeared in an earlier game. They probably appeared in more than just one of them. But yeah, I've only noticed them one time. Other than there. Nice room. I like it.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Get ready to get blown away, cause this is insane. Look at that. All of these rooms and corridors and stairwells. Just...
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
It's just amazing. It just goes on and on forever. And here we go. This is where I'm supposed to understand what's going on with this. With the earlier one. You are now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Yeah, but that still doesn't make me understand those specific games, but yeah. Wow. Sure is white in here. So what do we have here? Looks like an inn or something. I don't know.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The Streetwise Fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
We can't go over there, so no need trying that. And we go down here and it's all just a mess. Up. Oh shit. Oops. I fell to the bottom. All of these shapes. It's just so weird and random, seemingly. Now let's see. Here's a staircase. Let's go down. Little light there. And then down here. Nothing in here. And then there's this long gate thingy closing off behind us. Oh, then that opens. Well, I guess we're going in here then. And that's apparently an elevator. Can I jump off and... No. No, can't. Well, I can't go anyway. That way or that way, so guess I'll have to go into this cell.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, that would be way too long of a video. Down again we go.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
Now this closed off. It's both sides here, so another staircase down, I guess. Down we go. Out here. And there's those dots again. What do you know?
It's a puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
There we go. And there.
there's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Just want to jump so you can see there's the bottom of the skybox. And nice clouds outside. Let's go down here then.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
A wall stamped with whiteness. Enormous prison I spent hours in, or floating colored blocks. Well, there was everything of that, but which do we want to say? Let's say floating colored blocks. That's the world above. You've been there. This is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. That was literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. I prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. Let's just be honest. Yeah. Again, perfect. Now, please tell us how to solve it. Don't remember how I solved it. I didn't solve it, someone else let me in. Or trust me, you don't want to go over there. That's interesting. Let's say someone else let me in. You didn't solve it? So you have learned nothing. You cannot help us escape this prison. You're not the one I need. Surely there will be someone else. I guess that's it then. Nice furnace. Goodbye. This seems familiar. The puzzle? Let's just say yes. Oh, we actually find the blank space between the doors to be far more interesting. Okay. Why would I care about the space between the doors? There is a reason, but it may take time for you to understand, which is fine. You'll see it again soon. Okay. You're a bit weirder than the last guy, but whatever. Let's go. More stairs. Stairs, 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 stairs. Whee!
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
There we go. And that's bright. And out we go.
It's a lamppost.
Indeed it is.
I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
If you say so. Take me to the next one. Sure about that? Let's see here. That's the first one. First note. Nice room, not. I kinda like it.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy trying to get his attention. I was over enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
This is rather
But it's ironic,
interesting.
isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Yeah. It is kind of sad actually to see some of the things he's writing here. Define fun. I'm king of the world! Yeah, that's stupid. But all those out there you can't get to in any way. That's a bit annoying. Trust me, I've tried. Let's move on then. On we go. Every little blip is one of these opening. But yeah, some of these are just sad. What's in this corner? Badass bud. That's hilarious. Yeah. Just reading these, it's so sad sometimes, you know. Then there's the door here. Ignore that door, there's nothing there. Nice picture. Even more blobs over there you can't get to. Let's move along. I have in an earlier playthrough read all of these. Well, all of them that I can get to, at least. It's just sad. It's just sad. Like, yeah, he's right. It does show how he just feels alone. But at the same time, he also just criticizes himself to a point where it's just ridiculous. It's so sad to see. That's one of the powerful things that this
At the end of this
game
level,
does.
we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Then, last bubble over here. That's kind of funny. Typewriters. And a lamppost. Tons of typewriters. Oh my. Oh my. That just makes it so much sadder. It's horrible. Oh my.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
There's a well. Well. And we're locked in a room with 2 sofas, a table, lamp. Nice picture. Oh, the door here opened. Whee! And where are we going? Nice picture. Where are we heading here? Down some more stairs. And now
So, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway.
and we're in the
For
well.
some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Out of the well, and the furniture is just squared from the floor. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? TV with surround sound, a refrigerator, or a giant hole in the ground. Let's take a giant hole in the ground. That's not a hole in the ground, that's the table. Along the walls of the rooms, huge picture of a horse. I'd really like a washing machine. 10 stoves lined up all along the wall. Huge picture. That's not a horse, that's sofas. Light up this room. Skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open up this baby. Let's see, yeah, and again, we're locked in here, and we can see the well over there. Ooh, live Tesla coils. That sounds fun. And there's a lamp. And a table. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? I'm pretty sure none of my choices make any difference. Tables were invented in 1935. I don't think that's correct. But let's take that one. Table. And what the... Okay. Okay, if you say so.
There's a bit more to this one, but still it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. Let me just check around me here. Nothing. La 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 la. This guy will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo frame and click to turn it slightly. And there's the dots again. Photo frame. No! Now turn the floor lamp in this room off. Then turn it back on. Oh, over there. Now go to the left side sofa. Move it over a little. Right sofa, left sofa. Finally touch the shelves. Ah, they're over here. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Let's go back then. Return. Alright.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
God damn it.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
Ah!
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this
In the
prison.
well.
There's nearly a dozen. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling
And the
their
door.
work. And for
Puzzle.
what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this
Ah.
prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Sounds interesting. Let's go then. Dun, da, 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 da. Hedges narrowing in along the way. There's a lamppost and a telephone booth. And that's it. That's all there is. So let's go in here then. Pick up the telephone. Hello? Yes, hello? Me. Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. Interesting. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too? Yep, I was in the furniture maze.
And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Furniture maze, escape tutorial, reverse prison. Let's take the furniture maze. That's where I am right now. I'm so glad to know that I get out eventually. What's it like to escape? Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in the prison was like. It's strange, but in a way I kind of miss being in the prison. It feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. I think I'm gonna go with number 2. Why? Was there anything about it that you felt good about? Being here sucks. True, maybe I only like things once I don't have them anymore. It was comfortable. I knew its limits. I knew my place. But don't you feel excited about getting out? The promise of freedom? Comfortable. Is that good though? It's comfortable, but it's inhuman. I couldn't live this way. You don't need to. You just need to be patient. Having limits is way more important than you probably realize right now. You'll see what I'm talking about when you've been there for a while longer. Just be patient. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped. I'm the first. Then can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? To get out, all you have to do is be sincere. To get out, all To get out, you need to tell me how you feel right now. To get out, just talk with me for a bit. Let's go with sincere. What? That will free me? How does that work? Listen, you can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. Just be sincere. It will make sense. Let's just... yeah. Sincere about what? That's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape. Interesting.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, but it's still kind of sad. Because you're telling yourself and...
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
This is a fun one. I like this one. Though, like the others, it's also kind of
this
sad.
environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the 2 doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Nice. Clean. Oh my goodness. I'm glad as heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself. And right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Don't worry about me. A place this nice, I'll be glad to stay here all night. A lousy home makes home loners. Are we cleaning this whole place? Don't worry about me. I love the music here, it's wonderful. Well, now you just might be getting a little ahead of yourself there, no? Why don't we start cleaning and then you decide whether you could do it all night. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Alright. Much nicer. That's the table I want to see. Now, would you please run into the bathroom and make the bedroom and make the bed? Bathroom? No, the bedroom. Yeah, that's right, a mess. There we go. While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? All the little details matter. There we go. Do you enjoy being house cleaner? How'd you end up doing this job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. Do you enjoy it? Well, I don't enjoy it so much as I need it. Well, while I'm working, I feel kind of calm that rests in the pit of my ribcage. My soul just can't be soothed any other way, it seems. Which I guess is about all that matters. Oh, that and a tidy couch. Would you straighten the pillows on the sofa out there? Sure thing. There we go. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there. Yes. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. Yeah, I'll try to get by. Do you absolutely have to? The more cheese, the better. Yes? No. No, it was stupid, sorry. Never mind. Hey, the dishes need to be washed. Why don't you go come do that? Alright. There we go. Much better. Last I checked, the tub needs cleaning. How about you scrub down as best you can? No need to be perfect. We're all just human. It's not too bad. I've seen worse, but that's better. Are there still books scattered on the floor in the bedroom? If so, would you put them back on the shelf? Alright. There, much neater. Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the
After
table?
the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
But I just did that. House cleaning is so difficult. How do you do it? Are all houses this easy to clean? Do these chores ever end? Yeah. Darling, let me tell you something. Whatever work you do, you have absolutely got to own it. Otherwise, it owns you. So why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future chores for you to
Of all
you?
his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Present you want to smooth out the rug in the bedroom. Believe it or not. Present you. I see. Trust me on this one. Alright, so the rug is messy again. There. Looks like the tub has gotten rather dirty. You mind tidying it up a bit? Alright. Earlier when I said I had a cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. I get it, that's a weird thing to say to someone you just met. Yeah, you're right, that's pretty cheesy. But there's a bit of truth to it, no? Indeed there is. Anyway, so housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books. Would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Sure thing. Right there. Oh goodness, those pillows on the couch are a real mess.
I'm glad he found some peace.
Would you go and straighten them out a bit? Can't have these folks coming home to a messy couch. Whoop. What now? Question. Yes?
But
Do you
of
enjoy
course,
this?
It can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
That's kind of sad, because I like that cleaning bit. It's just... it's nice. And calm, and the music just makes it so much better. And there's a lamppost again. Hello, lamppost.
Which is the whole point of the
Hugs.
puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it. This one gets a bit goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No? You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make... I can't keep up. Selfish and grateful and... perfection is within your grasp. And the question now is... now you're going fast again. Yes.
About halfway through
Easy.
the game, the perspective shifts.
Ah, shit. The imperfect is effortless.
And you play as the teacher. Suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Let's go take a closer look at this. No? Okay. This is the key. How do I achieve it with no effort? Yeah, let's take that. Well, let me tell you this right now. If it isn't effortless, then it's not the right answer. I don't like this. Can I just go? No. If you're torturing yourself, trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right. There's some bad ones in there. I'm developing assist growth. Yeah, okay. Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path forward? Just kidding. Anyone want to do some ecstasy after this? I don't think that's a good idea. Oh, there's a lamppost again. Didn't notice till now. Was that always there? Huh. There's no truth. There's no path. Holy shit, you guys. Something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out! Do what is easiest. Do what is simplest. Feel what is true. That's kind of poetic, I suppose. Nothing. No one. It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you. Everyone run! Run! No. No.
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Perfection. Creepy. Nice room with the sofas
This one
again.
took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this. And it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Stage. Let's take a look around here. Let's see. Nope, can't go up the stair. Well, the ladder. Tap. The ladder. Can't go up the ladder. Let's take a look now. Let's go in on the stage. Oh shit! That scares the living bejesus out of me every time. Yes? Theater is empty. And what is up with that floor? Leaning against this. Oh, okay. Dream is to photograph animals professionally. Ooh. Hello? Hello? Okay. Super scared right now. I like you. Here are all my hopes and dreams. Hehehehe. I don't think there's any way you can do the right thing here. It'll always be wrong. Boing. What are some sacrifices you had to make? Boing. Boing, boing, boing. Boing, boing. 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 Stand back from... Huh? Okay, so now that opened and that's just... goes on forever. Yes? Yes? Oh. Yeah. Hi, lamppost. Let's just keep going backwards. Yeah.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Let's see what's up here then. Yeah, okay then. What? So my eyes are closed right now. I have no idea what's going on here. What if I go this way? No. I don't know what to do. I just hear intense music. And that was a crash of some sort.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise.
Oh.
And there is a solution, by the way.
Oh. Oh shit! It's the door. Who are you? Research. Yeah, here it comes. And crash. Now let's try to see. Oh, I can't see anything. Ooh, elevator. Whee! Truth. Speak something honest. Can't keep making these. That's it. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
This is so sad. All the things he's saying here might be true for the time, but it's still sad.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Hello? Okay. How do we get out of here? Huh. Interesting. So with everything I say, some more land will pop up. You look lost. This is another depressing one. Completely out of ideas. Try to create, I feel empty. I have nothing left to give to my work. And across we go. Oh no! What's happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Interesting. You're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't fair. It isn't far. I misread that. I need to see it to know why it stopped.
If the last game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes, Plains. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore.
Just so you know, I pressed
Why?
3 on
What is
that
it for?
last one.
Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Oops, that's wrong. Misclicked. Have to open the door. Close the first door. Uh-huh. Press the switch. There we go.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Here we are. No machine here. Huh. So, what? Yeah, it's so sad. So you have to tell lies to break down these walls. Oh my.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
And that crying in the background.
This is what I felt about it. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
That crying in the background was just heartbreaking, I'd say. Is the proper term there? The machine. My God. No? Alright then. Mm-hmm. It calls itself Coda. That is an interesting detail, seeing as the guy who made these is called Coda. There's the press, just as he promised. Blah 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 blah. Shut up! And there's the machine.
And of course, it's the machine.
It's so sad. Let's just go with random dialogue. It all feels so honest. And that just makes it even sadder because it's just such a sad monologue you have here. Really. Like it feels like he's talking to his brain, trying to get it to work creatively again. Like his brain is just shut down and he doesn't know what to do to get it to work again. That's how I see it, at least. There's the press. The machine will not apologize to us. This is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. He's really just trying to talk himself out of a depression, it seems. Crippling, horrible depression. And everything is just awful. And that's a gun again. Oh. Oh, yeah, that's right. Then... what do we say? Known forever. Just...
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
nope.
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would
No.
it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring
No.
meaning back into his work?
No. No. But
So I started
don't.
showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
That was never the problem, was it? It doesn't matter if other people love it, if he doesn't love it himself.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better.
By the way, I can't move here.
I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something... I really felt like I'd done something good, like
I can only
I
shoot.
was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
It made you feel happy. What about him? What about Coda?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
Road to something, paved with good intentions. Yeah, this is a perfect example of that. Because he shared all this out of good intentions.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
Yeah. And it's so... It's so sad. All of
room
this.
actually has a maze in it.
Oh, yeah.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Alright then. Gee, beautiful bridge. You did a wonderful job on this. So awful.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Yeah, of course you would. you're not so much about the game itself as you are about getting through it. It really just shows how different perspectives people can have. Like, this guy he sees things way differently than Coda does. And it just shows so clearly in the way that he helps you get through the games.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
See, the thing he fails to see is it's not about him.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
No. You see, to me it seems like he didn't make these games for other people. He made them for himself.
So strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
You tried to make this your own.
Where did I screw up?
It's not yours. It's not yours to take and make your own. Here comes
I'm the
the
reason
message.
that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
I feel like these signs speak for themselves. There's nothing much I can add to that. It's just...
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
It's so depressing seeing these, and you know that he didn't see the signs and didn't realize that what he was doing was wrong and that Koda wasn't okay with it. It amazes me how he failed to see that. But yeah, I guess that's just how it is.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Door puzzle. Go in here. But this time, no solution.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. It's desperate. It's very, very desperate. TV. Nothing. Let's take a look around. See what we can see. Some closed doors.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe he does. But you ruined it for him. Sorry to say, that's what happened.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Let's walk this way. See what we can see.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now?
That's a good question. And I don't have the
I
answer.
think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Yeah. Sure do have a lot to make up for. Behaved like an outright jerk. Don't know if that came across, but I said jerk. A hole there. Let's jump down. Oh. Elevator shaft-ish thing. Let's see now. What's in here? Big room. Beautiful architecture. And off we go. In a hallway that seems to narrow down every so often. And what do we have here? Looks like the beam from that space game. Let's walk into it. Sap and float. Maze. Giant, never-ending maze. No way in a million years you could solve this. Let's just do like that. And then we float outwards slowly.
Turn back from this cave.
And that was it. that was the beginner's guide.
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep
I'm pretty sure this whole thing is scripted. Don't quote me on that, I'm not completely sure. But it's still so sad, and well, to be fair, I love a game with a good story, and this just
and you're so tired.
it just it's just so touching, the story here. That's why this is one of my favorite balls of yarn.
Turn
Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I sure did. This game will never be old. Get old for me. I'll love it every time I play it because it's so beautiful. It's so touching. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.